Hi, this is Diane from Faithart Design Studio. And in this video, I am going to show you how to make the type of flip-flop journal that I've decided to use for exploring joy. Just take a piece of white cardstock. Now, don't throw this away. So sometimes when I do print and I say to my Epson EcoTank printer, print 10 pages, and I'm printing on matte photo paper, so it's taking a lot of time, and half of this comes out. I used to throw these away, and then I realized, well, that's really dumb, because the reality is I could cut this off right here and still be able to use this part of the paper. So for my demo purposes, I'm going to just use this piece of paper to show you how we're going to do it, okay? So you want to get a piece of cardstock, and what did I say? It's going to be 8. So we got 8 wide, and we've got 10. Oh, and of course, this doesn't go to 10. And then, see, I have another, well, you know, for us playing around, we're going to do 9.5. Doesn't really matter because this is not going to end up being a real journal, right? Okay, so let's say this is my base. So I've decided this base is 8 wide, and it is 9.5 tall, okay? So it's 8 inches wide. Oh, that does not want to mark. Okay. Right. And then I did 9.5 tall. Okay. And you have to have cardstock. You need something fairly sturdy because we are going to be attaching all of the flip pages to the back of this. Okay. So that's where we started with that. Let's get rid of that. Now, I just pulled some papers out because I want to show you again. See, I was going to throw all these away, but because my printer was acting weird, I needed to add some ink or something. So this will help you see what I'm talking about. So once you get your base, now you are going to start choosing your papers, envelopes, all the fun stuff that you're going to add. And you're going to have to, obviously, we're going to have to keep cutting these down, right? They can't be bigger than your base. So for this one, we already know, and I'm using this paper just for teaching purposes. So if it was 8 wide, we're gonna go like 7.5. And then we're gonna do the 9.5. We're gonna go to, let's just do like an 8.5. Okay, you have to trim all your papers down. So now we have a piece. You see how this is gonna lay on here? Okay, simple, right? And I'll just move these over here. So this might be my first layer, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna attach it from the left side. Let's take another piece of paper with a different print so that you'll be able to watch me easier. And we're gonna attach this one from the right side. So again, we need to do, let's just do 7. Okay, whoops, there we go. Let's do 7 on this. And then we're gonna do, we'll just do 7 by 7. Again, I'm just showing you. The beauty of this is you get to play with width and height, and that's what gives you some really fun dimension, okay? So don't throw these pieces away of the real paper that you're gonna use because you can use these parts. Okay, so now see how I've got 2? See how we're gonna lay that on there? And I'm going to show you the 3 different ways that you can attach the papers. Okay, the first way is the easiest way. You would just make a slight fold. So we're going to fold this piece of paper, right? That's about all you need because these are down in the bottom pages. And what would you do? You're just going to set that right on there, right? How simple that is. Now here's the first part that you have to pay attention to. As you're attaching this, now, here's what I'm going to do is I am going to take a marker again because this is a teaching video, right? I'm going to make a line because you can't see white on white. You can't see my fold. You're not going to understand what I'm going to talk about. Okay. You wouldn't normally do this when you're doing it, okay? So this is my base and I want to attach this. What you don't want to do is you do not want to put the absolute edge of your base right into that line. You need to leave a little bit of a gap. Okay, and when you're at the very bottom pages attaching, your gap is going to be small. As you get to 8 and 9 and 10 pages, that gap gets larger. Okay, so what we would do is we would go ahead and I'm going to put a bead of glue down there, right? We're going to lay this on here. I'm going to center it high, you know, from the vertical perspective. And then I'm going to, like I said, see how I'm leaving just a little bit right on there, okay? So there's our first flip. And then once you've turn it over, go ahead and use your bone folder. You definitely need a bone folder, okay, to make all this happen. So there's the first one. That's simple. We got that done, right? Okay, this next one that we picked, I'm going to show you. So a fold is one way to attach. The next way to attach is using washi tape. I am not going to waste my washi tape because this is not a real journal. This is just a teaching demo, right? So what we're going to do with this is I am going to go ahead and use like fairly wide masking tape. I'm going to put it on there. And let me get my scissors. Okay, and so now I've gone up and down the whole edge, right? And now what we're going to do is that's going to be bent a little bit. We're going to take our base, right? I'm going to turn it this way. And remember, we're going to put this on here. So we're going to turn it over because it's going to be on the back. Here we go again. Pay attention. I'm going to put the edge right up to the edge and then move it back a hair. You have to have some space for it to close. Then I'm going to wrap the tape and put it down on there, okay? Flip it back over. Remember, that's our base. And now you see how that opens and closes, okay? And I have a little bit of a space in there. So we've done a fold. We've done some tape. What's the third way? The third way is we are going to, let's get another piece of paper. Again, this is old leftover papers that I didn't use from some kit or something like that. Okay, let's do another 7 wide, and we will do 8 tall. Okay, this next one, we're gonna come from this side, right? Because we're going, you know, right and then left. So we're back to the left. So it's gonna fit on the top of there, okay? Now, what we're gonna do is do what Natasha called hinges. So this is why you wanna keep all these little pieces of paper over here, because you can just pull them and make them be your hinge. So here's a piece, and I'm gonna make it some weird color just so you can actually see it. So we're not talking decorations right now. We're just talking the basic 3 ways to attach your papers, okay? So these are going to be hinges. So let's just cut it about like that. We'll have 2 of those, right? We're going to do 2 hinges. And I think you'll get this. It's pretty simple. What you're going to do is I'm going to set the base aside. We're going to glue our hinge. And this is why you want to keep those little pieces, because this is how you can coordinate and make it look really pretty. Again, we're not working on that right now. We are just working on the 3 ways to attach, okay? So we've got that one there. And let's put some glue on here. And that's fairly lined up, Diane. And I'm just folding it to make my life a little bit easier. Okay, bring your base back over. Leave your pages down that you've already folded. Now we're going to lay this on here, and we are going to turn it over, right? And we're going to pull our hinges. We're going to do the exact same thing. You've got to leave a little bit of space. Okay, so here's the whole base. I'm pulling this over again, I'm just doing a hair on these. We're going to add the glue, and then we're going to fold it over. And there we go. Okay, and again, I left the space, and there's that. Okay, so you see how this back, you could care less what the back looks like. So here's another one that's now hinged. Now you see the space that I have in there, and that's actually good. Okay, let's play with an envelope. Excuse me. So you'll get a sense of how you would do an envelope, okay? So an envelope can be easy because look, especially if it's open, this is a piece of junk mail. Actually, I really like this. I don't know that you can see it, but it's embossed. It's little round circles, which is kind of fun. Okay, so we did this from the left, so this one would come on the right. And we don't need to trim this because it's okay. So we could do the same thing. So this style of adding an envelope, we're doing what? We're doing kind of the fold, right? From the first one that we did, we're going to do, it's almost like a fold is what happens. So we would lay that on there like that, and then we're just going to go ahead and close it. Again, I'm not decorating any of this. So you're going to go ahead and put your glue down on your envelope. Yeah, what's this? The flap. There, I couldn't think of the word for a second. We're going to lay this down. We're going to bring this over here, and then we're going to assemble it. Again, this is almost full height, and I'm leaving a little space. Okay, and then that would close there, and then you want to do this, right? Okay, so now we've got our right one on there. Now, I didn't open this because I'm not talking to you about how to make it functional. You could go in there like that. I would probably cut the top off to make this really work. But I wanted to just show you exactly how to add all of that. Okay, now that's the basis. You can keep doing that as long as you leave that little bit of hair in the room for the flip. You're going to be okay. Now, let's move the demo away. Let's get mine back, and now I'm going to show you how I'm going to add my pages, okay? I'm not using masking tape. Most of the pages that I've gone ahead and made are probably going to be hinged, okay? Now, what I want to show you is, do you see how thick this is right now? Okay, do you see how this is kind of buckling? Because this is just 48-pound cardstock. If you have 110 cardstock, go ahead and use that. It would be much better, okay? Now, there's something weird about this because I don't have this folded back up correctly, and I don't know why I'm flipping on this. It's kind of weird. Now, this has come apart, so I need to add some glue while we're sitting here playing. So let's get that glued back down. I don't know why that happened, but it's okay. So we're going to go over there. Okay, we're back to our base. I'm pretty sure this was the first one. I'm almost positive. Then this would come over here. Then we had this. Then we would have that. This is where I'm running into a problem. I think that went there. That went there. That goes there. That there. Yes, there's where I made a mistake a while ago, but guess what? It doesn't really matter, okay? So now you see the hinges on here. Do you see the width of the space? It's like almost 1/4 of an inch or more now. That's what you need to do as we're adding these new pages. Now, I have to get these back in order so that I don't mess this up. Okay, the other thing, so I've shown you how to keep adding the pages. Remember, this is our back. This is our base, right? Once I add all the pages on top, then I'm going to go ahead and make my final back. And this is, I took a piece of, oh, I know what this is. This is like a cereal box, okay? And I covered it with the designs that I wanted to show on the very back, and then I covered the inside. So what you do once you're done, let's pretend I'm done for a second. I'm gonna lay this, well, before I lay that on there, I've already chosen my ribbon because I want to close this with a ribbon. And I'm going to be attaching this. No, isn't that weird? No wonder it was flipped. I went and ironed this last night because it looked so weird. Oh, that's funny. I'm gonna have to take this apart. Anyway, let's just forget it, Diane. Okay, I would lay that on there. Then I'm going to glue this, pretend this is my top, and then I would have my clothes, okay? So you have the base that you attach everything to, then you make another base, and this you definitely want this to be heavy-duty cardboard, okay? So let's set this aside because we're not ready to do that right now. We're back to here. Now, let me pull my pages because I can tell which way they're going because I've finished, I've edged the sides. So I'm kind of, I know, oops, I'm doing this wrong. No, that's right. Okay, and that's going to go there. That's going to go there. But I don't think that's the order. I think the order is this. I think this one goes here. Then this one's going to be here. Then we're back to the right. We're back to the left. We're back to the right. We're back to the left. Okay, now that's basically all of my pages. Now, what I did was, when I watched Natasha, I love the cover that she made. So I actually made my cover almost immediately because I picked the pages that I wanted to have on the top. I made my cover and then set this aside. So see how I have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces in my cover? And that's how I know this is the top for this, because this is going to come from this side. Okay, and it's going to flip open this way. Okay, so now that I have them laid on here correct, let's go back and I'm going to show you how we're going to do this. I'm going to flip these over here. This is going right on here, okay? And some of them are, you can see some are taller, some are shorter. That's the beauty of this. This is going to be hinged. So I should have probably already prepared this. You know what? Let me stop the video really quick and I'm going to get my hinges so we can move forward with this. So I've prepared 3 pieces to attach this. This is the secondary page. Remember, in my kit, there's the main focal point page and then there's a secondary page. And so I have picked something that matches. Now, the reason I matched this, but if you notice the other ones, I did black and did some, I don't want to take away from all of this design. I want this to be the standalone. So I've made these 1.5 inch. They're probably too long, but it doesn't matter. But up here, if I didn't put one up here, this is going to kind of flip. So I decided to take a piece of corresponding and I cut it like 1 inch. And we're going to use that as my top. So then I'm sitting here going, well, that's kind of boring, Diane, if you're just going to do that. And I thought, well, look, I've got all these numbers here. What if I stamped numbers on there? I think that would be kind of fun. So let's do that. And if I don't like it, I didn't glue them down yet, right? So let's move those here and here and here. So we've got the 3 things. So what I'm thinking is, hold on, let me get a stamp block. I have so much stuff on my desk because I don't put it away because I keep grabbing for it. There it is. There's the stamp block that I want. Okay. What I was thinking of was this one might be really cool. Actually, I'm going to do this. I want to make sure I get it covered. I'm sorry, I'm hitting this table. I'm having such a problem with that. Okay, I'm going to put it kind of in the middle. Oh, yes. So see, before you put your hinges on, well, once you start getting your stuff put together, now this part of hinging is decorating at the same time, okay? So you want to just kind of take each page separately is what I found that I was doing yesterday when I was working on this. And let's use this one. I love this one. This is another fun one. That would look fun. Okay, I'm going to hold it by hand so I don't shake my camera. And then we'll put this on this one. And I'm going right up to the very edge and putting it kind of in the middle. And I stamp. Oh, yes. And now I need something small for the next one. Okay, let's put that one back. That's, oh, maybe we should do number. I have 03. Is that too big? You know what? I think I like the littler numbers. It kind of keeps with the same scale. Okay, let's try this one. Move that. Oh, that's kind of fun. That was really creative, Diane. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, let's put that away so I don't lose my stamps. I'm gonna keep these in a bag because somehow I lost the backer sheet. Okay, let's put those away. So now I've got my 3 hinges, okay? I'm going to take this off for a second and move this out of my way because I want to be real clear about how I'm attaching these. So I don't need to go over real far. And then that one's going to go there. Look how fun that looks. Now, the trick is, do I want to like corner the edges or something fun? Let's see, what do we got? What little stamps? That would be a rounder. That's the other one. Let's see. Oh, this has a little bit of a design. Ooh, let's try this. Hopefully I won't mess it up after I did it. Okay, well, that's okay. You can't see it until I edge it again. Oh, actually, yeah, that worked really well. Yeah, Diane, that looked pretty good. Now, do I do the same thing on this? I think so. I think we should keep the same design. Let's do that. Of course, which one did I just do? Oh my gosh. Oh, it must be this one. Is it? Yeah, it is. Okay, for a minute I thought, no, I just messed up again. There we go. Okay, that looks really cool. Those are some cool hinges. This, there's nothing on there. Oh, I'm going to take away half the number. You know what? I'm not going to do it. It doesn't work. Let's maybe just corner round it. Yeah, we'll just corner it. Round it, I mean. Okay, let's do that. And that will be right on there. Okay, I'm happy with my design. So what I want you to do as you start putting yours together is think of each page as its own design. And of course, all my pages are all different colors, so you really get to play around. Because sometimes you want to keep that focal point to the left or to the right, and you know, it's all about how high you want to cut it and how wide you want to cut it. Okay, let's go ahead and let's get these on. Oh, my glue started to dry up because I didn't put the lid back on, Diane. Okay, so we're gonna go about right. Well, no, I want it to be on the middle. There we go, Diane. I want in the middle there. This is the bottom one. Okay, and we're gonna put that. And I'm just eyeballing this, you know, to make sure it's in line. There we go. And then this one will go at the top. Let's move that over a little bit. I don't want to come down. I don't want to cut into the dragonfly. My girlfriend was teasing me this morning. She says, Diane, I watched your video and you kept saying firefly and it's a dragonfly. I was like, oh, well, thank you. That's what happens when you get to be an old lady. You kind of like go, huh? I forget the word. I totally forget the word. So this one's going to be right here, right? This is my top. So now we're going to flip it over. I'm going to flip it this way because I can work better with it. And now we're going to pull this over here, right? So yes, I made it. I didn't really need it that long. I'm going to move that over there. Now, again, what I'm going to do, you know what I'm going to do? We're going to like put a fold in it. I think that's what I started realizing would help me keep the right amount of space in there. So I'm just going to go like that onto my hinge on all three. And that makes sure that I'm leaving enough space because now it's just going to kind of bend there. See? And then this is going to, see? So we're kind of leaving like a little spine. That's it. I couldn't figure out how to explain this to you. It's kind of like you're leaving a spine. That's what we were trying to do. Okay. Now we got that all fixed. Now we're going to glue it. Get that one done. And I'm not pulling it tight. You don't want it tight. To be honest, I had to pull two of mine apart because as I started to get higher and it was thicker, they weren't closing. And it's when I realized, oh, Diane, you pulled them too tight and that was not what you wanted to do. Okay. So we're gonna go right like that. And now we've got that page hinged. And see how beautiful it is? Now, the trick is, as you're making these pages, as I said, I knew this was going to be on the right, and I actually had it longer. You can tell that I had it longer. How do you know I did? Because that's how I just showed you I did the notch, right? So I put the notch punch right there, and that created like the little file folder tab. Then I did it on the end. And I, excuse me, I actually made all that stuff on the front first, flipped it over and went and picked some blue paper, and I actually let the blue paper come over because these pieces are above there and they were sticking up. So see how I finished it off that way? Yes. Okay, so you get how to do this? Let's go to the next one. Okay, so the next one comes from the left, right? And this one is almost the same height as that, so I think I'm going to vary it a little bit. And you know what I just did? This is actually into the spine. I did not come over enough on this. Let's see. There we go. Okay. You got to keep it loose. Okay. Now this one, what did I do with this one? Again, this is just the teacup I trimmed off there, and I had this really fun ribbon, and so I attached that. So see how this is all done, and then I covered the back. Okay. So we're going to do hinges on this also. Of course we are. Okay, now, what kind of hinges are you going to do, Diane? So that's why you leave that stack of all that stuff. I mean, I could just do black ones because that would be pretty. But let's see what we have in my stack. Oh, actually, oh, it's not wide enough. I cut this out of something else. Let's see. So I've got this paper with some pink. We've got that piece. We've got... None of these are from that paper. That's okay, because I'm trying to do just, you know, like a little coordination. So this is just paper. It's not going to be thick enough. I don't want to do any blue. I've got plenty of blue going on in here. Let's see. What else do we have left? That's more blue. Well, that's funny. Where is the piece of paper that I trimmed? I should have pieces left. That's not from that either. Well, isn't that funny? Okay. Oh, here it is, right here. Here's the piece. This is the piece that came off of here. I knew I had. See, that's part of that. It's like I knew I had a piece of that. That's why when you trim this off, this must have been like this. Don't throw these away, because see, now I think that makes a really nice hinge, and we know that that goes together. So when you're getting these tall ones, I think I have to do 3. I don't think 2 is gonna work, 'cause it's gonna be, you could do a top and a bottom and not have the middle, but I think that's not gonna close right. So that's what we're going to do with this one. We're gonna use this. Let's go ahead and edge this, and this is cardstock. This is my 48-pound cardstock. Okay. So here we go again. How do you want to decorate that, Diane? So when I say how do I want to decorate it, I want to either complement my design or make that draw your eye to it. I really don't think, see, to me on this one, this complemented this whole design. It doesn't take your eye over here. You still see all this. So with this, I want your eye to see my teacup. So I think I just want things that kind of blend in. Okay, we're gonna have the same problem on the teacup that we had over here with the firefly, Diane. Okay, let's do this. Let's cut. We're gonna cut this like that. So now we have 2 pieces. I think we're gonna use this one in the middle. We're gonna use this one on the bottom. And then we'll trim it. Let's just trim it in half, and we'll use one on the top and one on the bottom. Let's do it that way. So if this is confusing, the first thing I want to tell you is go watch Natasha's video. Because when I first watched it 6 months ago, I was like, oh yeah, I totally get it. And then when I started to make this, I went, wait, what did she do? Wait, what did she do? I had to watch that video 4 times. So I'm hopefully that I'm being clearer, but I'm not guaranteeing that I am. So I want that to be, I don't want that to cover up my teacup, right? So I'm going to move this over to the side. We're going to have this one laying here so we can match it the way we want to match it. Remember, you have to have enough for it to cover all of this. I think that's probably enough. I don't need to come over that far. Okay, I don't think I'm going to add anything. What could I do? I could stamp like I did. I could add brads. I could do little edges. I could do, let's just do corner round. That's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to do corner round. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. I'm happy with the corner round. Okay. So we'll put that one there. Going to put that one up there, and we'll put this one down here. Okay. So let's go ahead and glue that. And we want that one like right there. Okay. I'm going to glue this one. I'm going to put that, again, get your ruler, Diane. Just set your ruler there so that we don't, so I can kind of keep them straight. And you're probably watching me going, that's crooked, Diane. I was watching somebody's video this morning and they had their ruler laying down and I was like, don't cut there because it's way crooked. She couldn't see it. Because of course we can't see stuff when we're doing it ourselves, right? Okay, let's do that. Okay, now what we're going to do, remember what I just showed you. We are gonna lay our metal ruler. We're gonna leave that little edge. Now, how far this edge goes, again, see how high I'm going now? That little bit that I'm leaving, not really enough. So we are gonna go like about 1/4 of an inch. And hopefully that's enough. And I found as I kept adding that it was easier to do this before you started to attach it. Okay, so let's get this lined up where we want it on my book. Okay, now flip this and don't move anything. Let's see, we're gonna move it just a little bit to the edge and then there's my, yep, I left just enough space. Perfect, Diane. I've got just the right amount of space. So that is the secret to doing this, okay? I was just showed you. Make your little spine with your ruler and your bone folder so that you don't have to take them apart because you don't want to take them apart. Trust me. That's what I had to do to a couple of them and then I ruined the paper. And I was not happy. And this one's coming over like that. Okay. And that is sticking out, but that's going to be okay. Okay, so you getting the point? So what I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and do this on camera, but I'm going to speed it up because you don't need to see me do every single one, I think. Okay. So I'm not going to speed this one up, and here's why, because this is very different, and so I do need to talk you through it. What I want to do on this one is I definitely want it black. And in this punch, when you punch out one of these, what are they called? Flags? I can't think. Anyway, you end up having this piece. That's the end that comes out. Don't throw those away. They're really, really cool. But look, they're not long enough to do a wrap around. So what I decided to do is I'm just going to, I want that to be the point on there because I think it looks really cool. I'm going to add this. I'm just going to add another piece of paper. And I don't think that's enough. So what I did was took a whole sheet. These are 2 inches. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this onto there so that I have enough. And then I'll do the same thing up here. And I think what I want to do is put a brad or something on there. So that's the first thing to do. So if you have this punch, there's a 2, 2.5, and a 1.5 that you can get out of there. And as I said, don't throw away the piece that's left, because you can end up doing some really fun things with it, right? Okay, so we added that back on there. We're gonna just put the curve back in. The angle. We'll just put the angle back on there. Okay, so that one's ready for there, and it's gonna need to be at least like that much to go around, right? And then here's the other one, so we're gonna glue that onto there too. So this journal, if you've been following me, you've watched me make so many journals. I do a ton of accordion journals and all that. I can whip one of those up, you know, in like less than 2 hours, start to finish. This I have in over 5-6 hours already, and I'm not even done, right? So this is a more complicated journal. But because we're going to do a Bible study of 23 verses, I felt it was worth it, that it was going to look so good. So that's why I decided this style works. It's just a lot more work. So I want you to make sure, if you want to make this, you're agreeing that you're taking on something that's going to be, I think I'm only going to do 2 because these are pretty wide. So let me go get some brads or something like that. We're going to stick that on there. So I grabbed some silver, and then I went, wait, Diane, it might look better with gold, because this is kind of more of gold than it is silver. So we'll set the silver ones aside. I think I'm going to use gold. So now I'm just going to use my little pokey tool and poke. Hopefully it's straight. Hopefully it is. If it isn't, well, that's the way it goes. That looks good, doesn't it? Yes, it does. If I wanted to get really fancy, I could pull out my washi tape and add some fun washi tape. Oh, that looks really good, doesn't it? Yes. So I don't know why, but I feel like I should edge. Not that you can see it, it's on black paper, but okay, so that, I like that a lot. I'm happy with that. So let's do the pokey tool and put another brad in there. We're going to use the gold. There we go. And we'll do this. Then I think I'm going to end this video because it's already really long. I'm going to end it so that you go start, if you're going to make this type of a journal, you go start it. And then I'll make the next video and I'll show you, and we'll talk more about let's decorate. So you have to do some decorating to get your pages ready, to get to the point of putting them on. But then, of course, as I said, for the Bible study, I'm going to be adding belly bands and pockets and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So, okay, let's go ahead. Here we go again. We got to pull this aside, set this over here. This is a really good punch to invest in. It's really, really good. In case you don't have it, it's in my Etsy shop. And I get a very small, like pennies commission if you use my link. And I appreciate that. That's the way you support my channel and you support my work. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to do it about right there. Right, it's there. And get my ruler. And we'll put that right on there and get to my point. And then we'll put this one. It's about the right size. It's the right spot. There we go. Now see, I think that is simple and elegant. Okay, do I need it that long, Diane? No, you don't need it that long. So we'll trim that, but I'm going to save it because I'll run it through that little punch again. Okay, get the book back. We're ready to attach it to the right side. And this is going to be about right there. Flip this over. Remember what I said, we are going to make our mini spine on these things. It's a good way to make it go simple. And then that little spine will be there. Now you can't make this too short because it's not going to have enough to really hold it on there, right? And it doesn't matter what's on the back of this because we're going to cover it up. Remember I showed you how we're going to cover that up. And then that goes right there. And we have another page has been attached. Oh, that's gorgeous. That is just gorgeous. Okay, so part 1 of assembling the flip-flop journal. Please like this video. I hope that you're sharing our videos. Share from the sense of inviting people to be part of this exploring joy journey that we are getting ready to go on in July. Plus, you're going to have 23 creators plus Debbie and I. So that's 25 people are going to be posting. So you're going to have so many videos of creativity, and it's going to be really inspiring.